and Afghanistan, you're going to wait 500 to 600 days. That's the bottom line here.
Most of these claims are still being processed on paper. Why is it so slow? What's the reason behind this?
We don't know. I mean, we're looking from the outside, right? It's like looking at a broken down car on the side of the road and saying, what's wrong with the engine? When we can't look under the hood. The VA needed more money, they got more money. They needed more technology, they got more technology. They need more people, they got more people. Everything that they've asked for, Congress and the veteran service organizations have given them. But the numbers continue to go up. The backlog continues to climb.
That was part of our conversation yesterday on Morning Joe with the CEO and founder of the Iraq and Afghanistan's Veterans of America, Paul Rieckhoff, expressing his frustration with the backlog veterans face when they file for disability benefits. Here with us now, the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Tommy Sowers. Tommy, appreciate you being here this morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
You can understand, and I know you do, why this is so outrageous to so many people because of the compact we make with our servicemen and women that if you go and defend us, if you go fight bravely overseas and you come home with an injury, we will take care of you, that some people are waiting as many as 700 days to have their claims processed. Why is that? Why is it taking so long to take care of our veterans?
Well, look, both Secretary Shinseki and President Obama know that this disability claims backlog is unacceptable, and they're impatient to fix it. This has been decades in the making, and we're putting in solutions to fix it for good. The challenge is, and one thing I want to make sure that we're clear on just from the very beginning, is that Iraq and Afghanistan veterans have been granted 5 years of cost-free health care. So we got to separate compensation from care. Not only have they been granted it, they're utilizing it at a rate higher than any generation before. 56% are. So if there's a veteran out there that's watching and seeing these numbers, they should know that they can come into any one of our facilities and they'll join 800,000 Iraq and Afghanistan veterans that have. But we know that this process is taking too long. That's why we've put in a technology fix. This is what we're dealing with. This is a claim. This is about an average claim. It's 2.5 inches thick. And in it are private medical records, Department of Defense medical records, and this is what we inherited in 2009. Millions of these paper documents with no plan to fix it. So the President directed Secretary Shinseki, hey, don't just do things quickly. Also take care of the transformational effects to transform the department, to move out of this paper into electronic.
But as I was just going to say, as Paul pointed out there has been a lot of money, there have been a lot of resources given to getting this electronic program. There was a study out a couple weeks ago that showed 97% of the claims still being filed on paper. If you have the resources you asked for and you have this new system, why are you still going through folders like that?
Well, this is a great question. I mean, this is what we receive in, and right now there's a new program where you can submit your claim electronically. As long as we continue to get this paper, we're going to have challenges, and this is why we need to partner with veteran service organizations, not only to file claims electronically, but also to file them completely. We only get about 5% of our claims with all the paperwork needed in order to rate a claim. 5%. We spend about 6 months going and trying to find private medical records, Department of Defense records. We've got to partner with folks to get that number up. And then the second thing, just real quick, is we've got about 1 million veterans that will be leaving the service, servicemen and women that will be leaving the service in the next 4 years. We've got to educate the junior leaders out there that are going to sit down with those young servicemen and women and say, what are you going to do next? You're going to go use the post 9/11 GI Bill, great. We need to educate them about the disability claims process. Filing it when they get out of the military right then and there is the best way to do it.
If you can, just for public education, track that claim for us. When was it filed? Where was it filed? What happened to it? And where is it now?
Well, so when I showed up, I heard a lot about this backlog, and I decided I'd go out to one of our offices that is processing these claims. And when you go out to one of these offices, they receive this paper. You learn a few things. One, about 50% of the employees that are working these claims are veterans themselves. These are veterans trying to help veterans. About 2/3 of this, if this stack is all 800 and some odd thousand that are currently awaiting rating, about 2/3 of them are supplemental claims. Not the first claim, the second, third, or fourth claim, somebody who's already receiving care and compensation but is seeking additional care and compensation. So, this is the challenge, though. I don't know when was the last time you looked up something in an encyclopedia? I mean, that is what we're asking these folks to do, but now we're transitioning to an electronic system where people don't have to search through here. When did that injury occur? They can just type it in.
I don't think anyone doubts that your intentions are good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all understand that. But what can you say to a veteran in Reno, Nevada, who's waiting an average of 691 days, almost 2 years, to get that claim processed? What do you tell that guy who's sitting there with an injury? Maybe it's internal, maybe it's external. What can you tell him or her about why he's been waiting for 2 years?
Well, for that veteran, I would say again, don't wait for care. You can come into any of our facilities. If you're in a crisis right now, you can call 1-800-273-TALK. And this is our Veterans Crisis Line. Over 700,000 veterans, military families, active duty military have called this number, and we've saved almost 26,000 veterans in crisis. So for that veteran that is needing that care, they need to come in and get that care right now. On the compensation, look, both the Secretary and the President know that we've got to fix this. For really, over the past decade, it's been about a 6-month wait.
But why in the year 2013 are you still dealing with paper? What has happened to it?
Why in 2009 were we dealing with paper? When we came in, we inherited this paper process. There was no plan in order to transition this over. We'd been dealing with about a 6-month average wait for a decade. And this Secretary, this Secretary and this President know how to make tough decisions when they're right decisions. They know how to look at something and say, hey, the veteran shouldn't have to wait this long. So we're going to make this fix. We're going to put in a technology solution to lower that. Right now, the goal is 125 days.
So you guys, sorry. So you guys have been in office. You said for 4 years. You've got, as you pointed out, millions of veterans are going to be coming home, or tens of thousands of veterans are going to be coming home over the course of the next couple of years. This seems like an emergency situation. There are people who think that you guys have been at this for 4 years, and the situation for veterans is worse than it was when you guys came in 4 years ago. So there are people outside in the press and other places calling for the Secretary to step down. This Chief of Staff has just left. You seem a little besieged by the situation right now. So if what do you need to address what is a pressing emergency situation and make this problem right on a quick timeline?
Well, let me address those two parts. One is the question of leadership. Look, a lot of our critics, we agree with part of what they say. We know that this is unacceptable. We know we need to get digits from DOD. But when it comes to leadership and addressing things for our veterans, look, 4 years ago, the post-9/11 GI Bill was just an idea. And now 900,000 Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, including myself, have benefited from it. 4 years ago, post-traumatic stress was not treated the same way. Agent Orange was not treated the same way. Gulf War syndrome was not treated the same way. This was this President and this Secretary giving justice to veterans. And probably the most important thing, 4 years ago, we were in 2 wars. We were in 2 wars that we didn't see an end to. And if you want to talk about taking care of the troops, the fact that when this President and this Secretary leaves, these wars are going to be in, that's leadership.
You know, I want to ask you a question on that front. My Time Magazine colleague, Joe Klein, wrote a blog post recently asking whether or not claims were actually being processed in terms of severity, and saying that, you know, if they were not, perhaps this had something to do with the lobbying power within veterans administrations and veterans associations, you know, on the part of older veterans, that perhaps younger veterans with more severe issues weren't getting the attention that they need. What would you say to that?
Well, you know, Joe is a friend of mine, and you know, I should have explained to him that we do prioritize our claims. If you're homeless, if you're in financial difficulties, if you're a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. And then I brought up the issue of Agent Orange. Look, for 4 decades, you know, administration after administration had looked at Agent Orange and said, that's probably not related to the current conditions. And it took this Secretary, wounded Vietnam veteran, to say, it's time for justice. It's time to get this right. And so we did prioritize the Vietnam vets after 4 decades of waiting.
Assistant Secretary Tommy Sowers, you're a veteran. I know you're working hard for your fellow veterans. We appreciate you being here today. There just got to be a better way. We got to do better, and I hope you'll come back and keep us posted on this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tommy.